take my whole life too, but I can't help falling in love with you.
Good evening, everyone. Happy Monday and welcome to Fools Rush In as we celebrate what was a fantastic weekend down at SN1. We will be talking through some of the highlights from our live show on Friday night. A huge thank you, by the way, to everyone who did come and attend. We had a fantastic night. We've had some wonderful feedback and we've raised some good money for charity. There was the men who, it was never in doubt, were always going to win that game in the 95th minute. It was written in the script, but was everything hunky-dory, or can we still find room for complaint? Yes, we can. And also, as me and Woody went on a whistle-stop tour of every possible football game we could get to on Sunday, we have to congratulate Swindon Town women for progression in the cup by beating their higher league opposition in style, by the way. Fantastic game yesterday afternoon as they beat Cheltenham 3-1 to book a place at home to Bournemouth in January. Now, there's no Woody tonight, but I'm sure he would tell you, because he told us many times last season, Bournemouth are very, very, very good. So that is going to be one hell of a test for Swindon Town women come January. That game scheduled to be played on what's technically my birthday weekend, because my birthday is going to fall on a Wednesday. So I will claim that that weekend, which is also FA Cup third round weekend for when we smash Bolton, which we agreed on Friday night in our live show that we absolutely will, just to piss all over Sky, who decided that they were going to put our game with Newport on that weekend instead. You're going to have to change it again, boys, I'm afraid. I have two of your absolute favourite fools joining me tonight to run down everything that happened this weekend. We might even delve into youth football and discuss the absolute chaos that was the under-7s. You never know. Let's say hello, good evening to tonight's panel, starting with one of the absolute gems that has made the last 5 years so enjoyable for you, the audience. Yes, it's the Housewives' favourite. Good evening, Nick.
Good evening, 5P. How you doing?
Very well, thank you, sir. Yourself?
Yeah, all good. Just recovered after the weekend, which was excellent.
Yes, it was a cold one, though, wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah. Well,
No,
I was freezing. But then again, every game I went to, I was just in a T-shirt.
Yeah, T-shirt and shorts. What do you expect?
T-shirt and shorts on Saturday, much to people's mocking. But yes, no, I'm glad you had a great weekend, sir. You look very smart on Friday in your bow tie.
Well, you have to make the effort, don't you?
Absolutely. And of course, we are in the adopted Fool's Corner. Most of us sat together, more or less. So you would think, given that we were all within touching distance of each other, we all watched the same game, but evidently that wasn't the case, Nick.
Was it not?
No, but there was plenty of disagreements about all sorts. Whether it was Woody and Waz's thoughts on on Palmer's performance, whether it was certain people's reflections on Bodin's performance, whether it was the defence, what was going on in the midfield. Most people's highlight in the post-match reaction, and I'm happy to share this early, was roughly on the 70th minute where Tranmere decided that they can't play through Swindon, so they're going to shoot from the halfway line. And every fool that was in attendance just decided to look at me, because Ripley was well out of position. And I turned around to Wazza and said, if this goes in, I'm leaving.
Yeah, but me and Waz had it wrapped up. We knew the equaliser was coming and who was going to score it. So all was good. We were quite confident.
Yeah. It was, like I said in the intro, never in doubt, was it, mate?
Never in doubt.
Quick look at what's going on in the chat. Jason's here, says good evening, 5 evening, Jason. You'll be pleased to hear that the voice is mostly back now. I struggled through lower league looks, League 2 606 yesterday. Could hardly talk. Mike's here, evening Mike. He does follow up with an evening all, but he says Bournemouth will be expecting to be tier 2 next season. Massive challenge for Swindon. But Swindon are now 17 wins in a row, so Bournemouth should fear us, not the other way around. Barry's here, says YMCA. Yeah, Kieran made a joke about my appearance because there I was in shorts. Jason says, evening, Sir Nick. What else have we got going on here? We have an evening Fools. Good evening. And Mike says, was still upset Bycroft isn't in goal. We can ask him shortly. And a very good evening to Sean. Let's throw it out there, because as much as people complained about Bycroft's shot stopping, distribution, and all-round goalkeeping skills, positioning was never really the problem, was it?
There's never a moment where I was just kind of thinking, if this goes in, Rifey's walking out of this stadium. But it was actually miles wide, wasn't it? It was never.
Yeah, it was miles wide.
Matey boy got so excited. But evening, gentlemen. How are we?
Very well, thank you. Yourself?
Very good, yeah. Lovely weekend, wasn't it? Like, it was just football galore.
It certainly was. Have you calmed down from the raucous celebrations of the 95th minute winner for Swindon, and then the Stratton Ultras in the under-7s causing chaos outside the cage? Are you calm tonight, or can we expect fireworks?
No, we're all good, to be fair. I never thought the under-7s would have been the most liveliest game out of all of them, though, to be honest. It was quite a lively one. Yeah. I mean, Woody didn't help out on the phone to Chippenham Academy every minute going which goalkeeper he was going to pipe up. And the mum of the goalkeeper for Stratton Juniors was stood right behind him, or right in front of him as such.
And I described his son as a lunatic, but in the nicest possible way.
But she agreed, to be fair. He's a good keeper. He's a good little keeper for his age. But very massive result for little Theo's team, to be fair. And thank you for you and Woody to coming down, mate. He loved it, to be fair. Even in the car on the way home, he was going, it was great to have some supporters and stuff. He loved it. And the game was quite good. They were 4-2 down, I think, going into the last period, weren't they? And they brought back to
they were 2-0 up, 4-2 down, and 1-5-4.
Yeah, it was quite an exciting game, to be fair. It was gripping.
Nick, you would have not that we often cover youth football, but you would have absolutely adored the referee in the Stratton under-7s game, because bear in mind at that age group they play 4 10-minute quarters. In the third quarter, he somehow found 7 minutes of added on time in a 10-minute quarter.
Can't be bad. Oh dear, what? Were they weren't rolling about on the pitch faking injuries like the professionals, were they?
No, I think he was pausing it every time the ball went out of play. And bear in mind, it was on one of these 4G pitches. When it goes out of play, it goes out.
Yeah, they've got to go running for it.
No multi-ball game then.
There was also a suggestion that he was one of the players' dads as well for the team that was 2-0 down. So it was sort of play till we score, lads.
Yeah, play till we get back into this game. Yeah, but
he must watch Liverpool then. That's what they usually do. Or Man U.
Well, it's not Man U these days.
Must I say credit to you two gentlemen for Friday, with obviously Nick organising the game and everything like that, and you boys. Yeah, it was a great night, wasn't it? We all done well. It was a great laugh. When we all get together, it's just brilliant, isn't it? And I just absolutely loved it. And fair play to all of us. I thought we'd done a cracking job. We raised a good bit of money for a couple of good charities. And yeah, well done. Everyone involved, everyone who come and watched. I echo what you say, Fifey. It was, proper good night.
Sean, by the way, absolute hero. Not only is he incredibly knowledgeable and really saved us on Friday by knowing stuff and could actually get correct answers, but he also says, if so, what did I think? I wore shorts on Saturday as well. Good for you, Sean. That's the way it should be. Shorts and t-shirt, the football. The way it was meant to be supported. We have an intro question, boys. What I've done is I've kind of linked it into what happened at the weekend. And this goes out, of course, as it always does, to everyone watching along. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Obviously, we went live on Friday. We're always live anyway, but we were live in person. So what I'd like to know is, what's the favourite thing you've ever seen live? in person. So that could be, doesn't have to either be football related. It could be a favourite concert you've been to, or it could be a mishap that was funny to watch. What's the favourite thing you've ever seen live in person? You're nodding early doors. Have you got one that instantly springs to mind?
The freshest thing of what I've gone and watched live, and it was most recently, I went and watched Jimmy Carr live, and he just absolutely had me in stitches. I know it's probably just, it was the most recent thing that I've done live. Probably later on I'll be like, oh, that was good. But he was so funny. He was just
unpopular opinion, maybe. I don't have a loathing for Jimmy Carr like I do Ricky Gervais, but I like Jimmy Carr when he's with other people, like on comedy shows, Cats Does Countdown, that kind of thing. I've watched bits of it. I'm not a massive fan of his stand-up. It's just not for me.
No, fair enough. No, but my old man's always been a big fan of his, and I got him some tickets for his birthday, and we were just both in stitches. Just some of the things.
A friend of mine is desperate for me to go with him to see Peter Kay. He's another one who's just not for me.
Yeah, I've been and watched Peter Kay this year, and I did think it was good, but it's so hard because you're just comparing to him to how he was years ago, and it's never going to be the same. But he was still very funny. But yeah, I can see how they relate. Some people are like, no, I want to remember him from what he was like, 15, 20 years ago as such.
Absolutely. Nick, your favourite thing you've ever seen live?
Barcelona, not the football. We were at a weekend in Barcelona, and it was their fiesta season, and we were waiting in the street for whatever was going to happen, not having a clue what was going to go on. And beforehand, there were a load of young lads with masks, like bandanas across their faces, sat on the relevant buildings, and then this procession come down the street. And probably the best description is a fire-breathing dragon with its wings out and fire coming down from it. And as it was walking past, all these young lads go underneath it through the flames in that. And then there's fireworks and and it was like, whoa, it's something you'd never see over here. The health and safety woke lot would just top themselves. It was absolutely out of this world. Yeah, it's really fantastic display. They know how to put on a display. So it was really, really good.
Nice. When I thought of this question earlier, I had a couple of different angles I could take with it. Similar to Waz's, I always said, and I think I may have told this before, but I always said I would never go and watch a stand-up comic until I could watch Lee Evans. And thankfully, I got to see his last ever tour in Birmingham. I've seen many comedians since, and I have to say Russell Howard comes very close. He is very, very, very funny. I didn't realize quite how funny he was, but I had a very good evening watching that. Other things I've enjoyed watching live, I came across, when I say this, I don't mean I discovered him, but me personally, I came across a musician a couple of years ago called Dermot Kennedy. I got to hear him at Radio 1's big weekend in Coventry a few years ago when he was still kind of just making it mainstream. And I thought, wow, he's very good. Heard him again at Soccer Aid this year, and my God, can that boy sing? He is so, so good. Love a lot of his music. But then I also thought, and I wasn't there in person, but I watched it on live TV. I love a good mishap. So Gemma Collins falling over, both on Dancing on Ice and on, I think it was Radio 1, falling through the stage. Very funny. And was it, I want to say Cher, but I think I might have that wrong. It wasn't Cher, who I'm thinking. Madonna with the cape where she got yanked off the stairs. Also very, very funny. I love a good live mishap. So there are some of my choices for that question. Mike's got involved. He said, I enjoyed seeing Bon Jovi live at the proper Wembley Stadium, but probably preferred the 1993 playoff final. Very good choice. Sean, I have seen your comment. I'll come back to that because there is an answer to this, and it will be fixed for next time because apparently there is a want for it to happen again. Andy's here. Bournemouth women, very good. Seen them twice before. Remember losing 3-2. at the Nigel Eady County Ground in the last kick of the game, sitting next to Bournemouth fans. And then we've got Deluxe 976 saying Swindon Leicester playoff final. Every minute was awesome. Every minute? Every minute? Are we sure every minute was awesome? I mean, I wasn't there live. I was too young that my mum and dad didn't take me. But having watched it back, every minute wasn't awesome. The majority of minutes were awesome, but every minute certainly wasn't. Thank you. Please do keep throwing them into the chat. Let's share some favourite live memories. But where do we begin? I think it's only right to start with the proper stuff and then the self-indulgent stuff at the end. So let's go to Saturday. And as I said in the intro, it was never in doubt what was going to happen. We said Falls Weekend, Swindon Town men were going to win, Swindon Town women were going to win, and we were correct. We'll go into the intricate moments as we go along. But first of all, how confident were you right up until the 90th minute that Swindon were going to win that game?
I just thought we'd thrown it away. I just thought it was going to be one of those other classic home games that we've had recently where we've had periods where we've dominated a game and then we've just given it away by a poor lapse in concentration defensively, because it seems to be what we do at the moment. I loved our attacking brand. First half, we were well off it, but I think I listened to the post-match interview of the Tranmere assistant manager, who was very well spoken, spoke very well about Swindon. He said they did set up in the first half to try and stifle Swindon with a similar system, and I think we matched up. It makes it difficult, especially at this level. If you've got teams that are setting up with the same system of you, it makes it very easy. They know who their man is. There's no overloads as such because it's all creative. So I thought it was very difficult first half. I don't think we were at the races. I think missing 3 or 4 key players did show. So I think we were a little bit short in some areas. We just, it's great having this big squad, but we just looked a little bit off it, or get players that hadn't played a full or hadn't been a part of it in the last few weeks that had to come in and be a big part of the game. But I thought the second half was loads better. I thought we got on the front foot. We had a lot more shots. We were a lot more creative. I think we were clever that we let Tranmere come on to us a little bit, so we had opportunities to more hit them on the break instead of trying to break them down. And obviously they grew in confidence as the game went on because they were still in the game and they probably thought they had an opportunity of nicking it or getting a win. So I thought it was very chalk and cheese. The first half was very dull, but the second half, like Sean just said there, we could have scored 5. We had so many chances, but then Tranmere probably looked back, they could have had 2 or 3. So it could have been a very different scoreline to 2-1. It could have been It could have been a 5-3 or whatever it could have been. But yeah, it was very, very important just to get the 3 points, to get that duck off our back with the last 2 or 3 games at home that have been a bit tricky, just to get that 3 points. And just something that Nick said on Friday night, as much as we dissect the performance, I don't really care as long as we get 3 points. At the moment, it's just getting these points on the board to get us as high up the league as we can and be in a really good position going into the second half of the season. So we just keep winning. We just got to keep picking up points. And at home, and no disrespect to Tranmere, and I'm one of these that says this, there's no easy game in this league. We have to be beating teams like Tranmere if we're going to be up there. And I know I've contradicted myself there, but it's just games that we've got to be winning. And we found a way to win, which was massively important.
As every popular TV show in the 80s and 90s said, was points win prizes. But it is our job as elite level podcasters and panelists to dissect these performances. Nick, again, just an overview takeaway from you before we talk about some of the fundamental points from the game.
Yeah, well, first of all, Holloway's again proven that we, and myself in particular, know nothing about football, because I did criticise earlier in the season, why the hell did he sign those 2 lads from Bristol? Because we didn't really need them. Well, we certainly did on Saturday with the number of injuries and a suspension in being a fairly bare squad, although our bench was still strong. We had 4 regulars out, Kilkenny, Clark, Drynan, and I can't remember the fourth one, regular. Snowden out. I mean, that's 4 strong players that we were missing. So, we were by no means scraping the barrel, but as Holloway said, he's put a team out that hasn't really played together, although they obviously do a lot on the training ground. And as it turned out, they did the business, which is all you can ask. So, yeah, fair play to Holloway. He's got a squad together. He certainly knows what he's doing, and he can motivate that squad. And, yeah, we deserve the win. As was said, it looked like typical Swindon. Here we go again. We get the goal and we can't keep that clean sheet. That seems to be a problem this season. But what a wonderful goal to finish it. I mean, that was just, there's no words. It was so good. And as soon as it left his boot, and you could just see that flashing into the back of the net, and the Fools had a little party. It was great stuff, to have the Fools all in a bunch together, a winner like that makes it even better. So, yeah, it was a fantastic day. Fantastic.
Huge moment, just taking a sidestep slightly. 66 minutes on the clock. Cheltenham have pulled one back at home to Notts County. It's now 1-2 with half an hour to play. Surely Cheltenham aren't going to do this again, are they? Surely not. Let's see what happens in the next 25, 30 minutes. Looping ball hung up. Header is won. Defender clears it off. There is a push, but I mean, Notts County are claiming it. I wouldn't be. But the Notts County defender has just headed it straight back to the Cheltenham attacker who's tapped it in. If Swindon do that, by the way, I'm losing my head. That is awful defending. Truly terrible defending.
It's not just
unfortunately, as a Swindon Town fan, the camera's just bouncing again. It does look like it was one young Mr. Macari that did it.
Oh,
nice little link there. Okay, let's talk about that. There really isn't, and I'm not trying to speed through things at all, gents, but there really isn't anything to discuss in the first half other than the referee really tried to make it all about him. My God, I've never heard the whistle go so much. Truly abject. I was watching OSC earlier, and someone had pulled up the stat. Apparently, he'd spent most of his time recently refereeing in the Championship. This was only his second League Two fixture in 2 years or 2 seasons. And the question was raised, do they play by different rules the higher up the ladder you go? Because honestly, I've never known anything like it. There's being pernickety and then there's being a job's worth. And being a job's worth seemed to be what he was after. I mean, were you getting as frustrated as I was by it?
Well, that would explain it if you told me he's in the Championship, because he's trying to stamp his authority, thinking, well, I'm bigger than this game. And that's probably what he was trying to do, because I agree. I thought he was awful. I thought he wasn't consistent. Well, he was consistent. He blew his whistle a lot. But, I think he was awful. I think the Palmer decisions he was getting wrong. I know strikers tried to be clever, and Ollie Palmer's definitely one of them, but he was getting absolutely ripped apart. It was back like watching Harry Smith sort of days, wasn't it? When Harry Smith was getting, absolutely pulled to pieces.
I am going to get on my soapbox about that just for a moment, if I may.
Go on.
And the reason for that is, and I do agree, and this isn't me necessarily criticising.
I reckon it is.
I know what he's going to say. Yeah, go on.
But I understand why he was doing, particularly in the second quarter of the game, if you like, the second half of the first half. Everyone was getting frustrated by the referee at this point. But fuck me, this guy is big, strong, and powerful, and he ended up doing dramatics that fucking award-winning actors couldn't pull off to try and win a free kick. Some of the do you remember the infamous Mika Richards dive for Aston Villa, where he literally dived like a savage?
No, he was nowhere near that fight.
Palmer was doing stuff that made Mika Richards look more realistic. It was ridiculous. I'm like, no, just stay on your fucking feet. And my issue at the time, I said to Wazza, Palmer is winning probably 75-80% of the aerial duels. The problem is the flick-ons aren't going to anyone. Well, by the time he got pissed at the ref after half an hour, he was winning 0 aerial duels, but he was winning lots of BAFTAs and Oscars. It was outrageous the shit he was trying to do, just to prove to the referee, look, I'm being fouled. No, fuck off. Just win the ball and carry on.
No, I can understand his frustration, Fifey. To say the ref whistled a lot,
but just be the bigger person.
Yeah, but to say the ref whistled a lot is because the number of fouls that Tranmere were committing. I think that's probably one of the dirtiest teams I've seen at the county ground this season. Everything they were going in for, they were making sure they were getting beat in. Yeah. They made it an ugly game, certainly in that first half. Yeah. And Palmer was getting pulled all over the place and he got absolutely nothing. So what are you going to do? You know, just human nature. You either react against a player doing it, which obviously you don't want because you end up getting a red, or you try and play the game. Yeah, well, let's not go there. So I ain't got a problem with what Palmer did. So fair play to him.
No, listen, I know that I'm going to be very much in a minority here, but I think he's big enough, strong enough, and experienced enough to know that sometimes the referees are going to do this. And he had the beating of their defenders. He just decided to play act to prove a point, and I'm not here for that.
But the best of it was after it had gone on for, I don't know, he had 8 or 9 incidents like that. That when the referee did give him a free kick, that was the softest thing of the lot.
Yeah,
He was hardly touched. It was like so maybe it did work, Fifey, because then the ref started giving him free kicks.
And maybe I'm just so used to Swindon not being able to do the dark hearts and the shithousery that when they are able to start doing it, I don't like it. I don't know, maybe. Was the one moment of quality there was in the first half, saw Glatzel release down the right-hand side, and we were all kind of left scratching our heads at how he didn't score.
Yeah, I kind of said, his stronger foot's his left. Why isn't he? He was one-on-one with that defender, and I thought he had the beating of him. He was literally one-on-one. I thought, cut it back onto your left and try and whip it back into the other corner. But he's tried to catch the keeper off guard, and I think he sort of, all you can ask them to do is hit the target and make the keeper make a save, and that's what he's done. But it was quite a simple save for the keeper. It was sort of straight at him or close enough in his proximity that it was quite a comfortable save. But on Glatzel, I thought I feel everything about Saturday when we look at like players and stuff like that. I didn't think there was anyone that massively stood out. Even when you look at Palmer and Munrooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooo Peter out there, but it was just a very, very solid team performance, especially in that second half. Everyone had a role to play, and everyone, you know what I mean, done their jobs. And I thought it was very, very just a solid team performance, really. But on Glatzel, you know what I mean, we were talking at the start of the season, weren't we? And in pre-season, would he play? But he's Holloway's warmed to him massively. It's obviously it's all to do with his work rate, and we all know with Glatzel the quality's there. He's very much a confidence player, isn't he? So if he's playing games and creating chances, you know what I mean, we are going to get a game where he is going to score 2, or well, we've had the game where he scored 2 against West Ham, and we'd like to now get that translated into the league. So, but he's a talent, you know what I mean, and he's getting in amongst the chances now. And I know we say he misses a few, you know what I mean, but that definitely wasn't, in my eyes, a sitter.
Oh, no, I'm not saying it's a sitter at all. It's just it's the only thing in the first half of any quality worth discussing.
Of any quality. I think they had a couple of half chances. I think Ripley made a decent save, very similar to that. So, yeah, you know what I mean? On the whole, the first half was, like we said, was just drivel, really. It was 2 teams cancelling each other out.
Well, let's talk about some of the better moments which did come in the second half. It was interesting that unlike common fare, I'm guessing Tranmere had won it to dictate it, but Swindon attacked the Town End in the first half and was shooting towards the Stratton Bank in the second half. So it meant that we got to see everything over in the corner. Let's talk about some of the players. I know you said that no one stood out. There are a couple of notable mentions, I feel, though. Obviously, we'll be discussing Munro and Palmer individually shortly. While we're on the subject, I do think one of the things that Glatzel should get praised for is he started as the support striker. He ended up playing left wing back during one tactical change. He then got put back up as an attacker again after the second tactical change when the goal went in. His versatility is well known, but the fact you never notice a drop in performance. No matter, if he's playing right attacker, left wing back, left forward, the consistency remains, and I think he deserves credit for that. The first player I would like to mention, Nick, who I thought had a good game. I know there were a couple of grumbles at times, but I think there has to be an acceptance that his direct opponent is one of the most informed players in the league at the moment. I thought Joel McGregor had a very good game at right wing back. I thought defensively, I know there was a lot of concern that Snowden was missing, but I think it did. And Ben, I think made a good point. It's possibly worked in our favour because McGregor's that little bit better defensively. I thought he handled his task very well, and he was a threat. And I know you two were sat just in front of me, so you would have both heard it. But Wazza in particular, how many times was I screaming like, McGregor's got the freedom of Swindon on the right-hand side and no one was giving him the ball. It just kept going left. But I definitely think Nick McGregor deserves a mention for his performance on Saturday. Yeah,
100%, because his previous performances, he was a bit under what we expect from him. And that's probably because he hadn't played much, and it does take time to get back up to the pace of the game. Even when it looks like it's slow and not much happening, there's a vast difference with not playing for a few games and then coming into the side. So yeah, I'd agree with you. I thought he did very well, and had we utilised him a bit more on that right hand side, we could have created a few more chances. But yeah, fair play to him. And one thing you can never fault with him is his effort. You get 100% plus from him, and again, that's all you can ask, even if it's not going as well as you would like. Long as they put the effort in, which he does, and he was, like you say, was said, everybody was on a fairly even par for performance. But yeah, you could easily pick him out, although I don't think he got much recognition anywhere else. But yeah, he was good.
I can't remember who it was said it was. I think it might have been people just left of us. I could be wrong. But I remember someone, or I overheard just someone mention that, McGregor isn't stacking up physically. And I'm like, well, to be fair, he's against Amari Patrick, who's one of the big guys in League Two.
He was always going to look small, wasn't he? Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
But I thought that there was maybe 10 minutes where Patrick had the better of him, like the physicality was shown. But I thought tactically, McGregor was very, very good and knew how to deal with it and counteract it. And like I said, not only was he solid defensively, but offered an attacking threat.
He didn't shy away from the battle, did he? You know what I mean? Which he could have quite easily done. And one thing I think I said to you, and I think I said to it on Sunday when we were watching Theo, I said that when we were talking about it, we said that what I liked about McGregor is that he made Patrick go the other way. Yes. He didn't just think, I'm going to defend against him. I'm going to make him run back and chase me as well. And there was a few times, to be fair to Amari Patrick, that he did. And he did have to track back and follow McGregor and try and do his defensive duties. But yes, McGregor was very, one of the better games that I've seen from him in a while. Nick makes a great point. I think, he's been in and out of the team, so it is hard to get into that rhythm and stuff like that. And I think you've got to remember that he is still only 19. Do you know what I mean? He's a young lad.
It feels like he's been around for ages.
Yeah, he feels like he's been for ages. He started when he was 17, didn't he? Dipping his toe into the first team. So it's only been a couple of years. So, you'd like to think he is. The physicality side of things will come again as well. Do you know what I mean? So it's one of them. But he doesn't shy away from a tackle. He's quite comfortable on the ball, and he's good competition down that right for Snowden. I do agree with you that I think that after that game, I think it will be in Holloway's back of his mind that, you know what I mean, there is someone knocking on the door in that position. But that's what we love about the squad at the moment, don't we? That there's competition everywhere, and that these players that are in, to keep your shirt, you've got to keep performing well. So he's one of those knocking on the door, isn't he?
Absolutely. I'll stick with you, Woz, because it was a player that me and you spoke about. He got mentioned briefly earlier. Adam Murphy, not had a lot of game time in a Swindon shirt, came in and looked comfortable. There was a few sort of rumblings of, oh no, what are we going to get here today, when the team was announced while we were in the Legends Lounge beforehand. But I thought, if I was to have a criticism of Swindon, I thought Nichols wasn't particularly good on Saturday, but I thought Murphy was, again, not stellar, but solid, dependable, reliable, did what he had to do and did it well.
Yeah, I thought he was neat and tidy, done his job properly, battled well, got in his tackles. You've got to remember, I think Murphy playing as well on Saturday was probably a little bit of a detriment to Nichols, because Nichols has built up this partnership with Kilkenny where they know where each other are going to be on the football pitch at all times. In situations, they just know where each other are going to be. They know where each other are going to be. With Kilkenny and Nichols, the partnership that those two have is really solid. But I thought Murphy come in and done a decent job. He come in, he won his challenges, battled hard. He's quite calm on the ball. He's very steady, which is what Holloway wants. But I think Nichols was probably a bit more in his shell to just think that we didn't see the normal Nichols of,
maybe he wasn't as confident in his partner.
Sort of busting around as much and leaving Murphy on his own. Nichols was probably thinking, no, I need to stay in with him. I'm going to work with him, and me and him we'll do it together as a two. So I think that's what we saw a bit on Saturday, which fair play to Nichols. It might have been a tactical thing. They thought, well, let's keep with the two, because we did have the two, and then we had sort of more like Oldacre in the 10, and then Glatzel and Palmer as the two. So maybe that was the tactic, which, having all these options is great when you're missing a player like Kilkenny, who we all agree is one of the first on the team sheet. To have someone step in and do a decent job and we win the game, it's great to have this squad and great to have these, these options in and around it.
Well, Liam is clearly still riding the wave of euphoria that he's forgotten exactly what happened in the game. But Nick, someone else who I think does deserve a mention is Will Wright's defensive partner, Mabete. Once again, I would argue our best defender on the day, at least until the point he was substituted.
Yeah, I thought he was, if not man of the match, he was close to it. I thought, he was superb. He's what's he? Is he only 19, 20, something 19, like that?
Yeah.
20. I mean, for a young kiddie like that, he's strong. He brings the ball out well. He's more than just a defender. He's which I guess they all are. He's a decent footballer. He seems to be able to read the game well. He certainly doesn't shy away from a tackle. And whether Holloway was resting him a bit because he had alternatives on the bench, because again, I think he's said previously that there's players that he has to manage their minutes, and again, for me, that's really good management. And I think we were all disappointed. Couldn't really. Well, why is he taking him off? Because he's been playing so well. But when you've got Tafazeli, Delaney on the bench who can come in and fill that role, he's obviously doing the right thing. So because I'm guessing he's likely to play Tuesday, big game Saturday. So to manage those minutes is important. But I thought, well, he's been superb all season. I thought he was unlucky to lose his place, but again, I think it's more management of the player. As much as I don't think it's anything to do with his form or him playing poorly. And we've got the squad that we can do that, in full credit for that. So, But yeah, he was good. He's just a superb player, really superb.
No, absolutely. One other, well, actually, no, two more that I would like to mention. And there has been, I say there has been criticism. I have mentioned as a discussion point, some of Holloway's substitutions of late certainly haven't had the impact that were expected. In fact, have ended up having a negative impact on the team. That certainly wasn't the case on Saturday. One player that everyone seems to be mentioning is Billy Bowden. I know you're a big fan, but he came on and certainly showed some good touches. He had some vision. Not everything he tried came off, admittedly, but he certainly had an impact when he came on.
That has been my only crab of Bowden when he's come on. Sometimes I feel he can just look like the game's just passing him by. I don't think he gets in enough and gets the ball. When he gets on the ball, he's a talent still. He's still got it there. Do you know what I mean? And I think I probably forget that he's 33 now. Not that that's old sometimes in football terms, you know what I mean? But he's sort of at that age now where he's probably lost that yard of pace, but he's still very, very good technically on the ball. And he did, you know what I mean? Some of the things he tried come off on Saturday, and he was switching the play, and he was getting on the ball and finding those passes down the sides. And this was a lot better. This is like the best that I've seen from him and Prince coming off the bench, those two that we've seen in a very, very long time. These are the types of performances that we want to see from these two when they come off, because I don't think they're doing enough at the moment to start over a Drinham when he's fit, or a Palmer or a Glatzel. So when they come on, they need to show that bit more, and they need to be getting in and making things happen for us. And I totally agree. Both of them had a massive, massive play. You know what I mean? Prince done well for the first goal. I know Palmer's put it on a plate for him, and he's had a shot, but you know what I mean? He was still a massive part of the goal. But those two need to be doing that, because the whole point of when they come on, they need to make an impact. We need them to do stuff. And the only thing, like I said, the only gripe with Bowden is that I just feel like sometimes he's sort of like, oh, it was there and I didn't make it. And he can sometimes look, I don't know if lazy is the right word, probably not, but he can just look like that he's not in the game for me enough. But Saturday was definitely that exception. I think Sean said it in one of his, just said it in the comment, didn't he? I think that was his best game in the town shirt since he's come back. I think that was his best cameo coming off the bench, and hopefully that'll give him that bit of confidence, because the talent's still there. He's still got a hell of a left foot on him. We just need to get him on the ball in the right areas to be able to hurt teams.
Absolutely. The other player I'd like to just give a mention to before we start talking through some of the moments of the second half, Nick, was James Ball. The first thing, he came on, he looked calm, he looked assured, he has a very good footballing brain on him. He knew when to go for the challenge, he knew when to make the run. We'll talk about his attempt in a moment as well. But the other thing that was striking, as I think that's my first, at least in person, because that's his home debut as well. I think this is my first time seeing him in the flesh. That boy is fucking massive.
Yeah, I mean, if you hadn't brought him up, that's who I was going to say. That I thought he was superb. When I think it was it Oldham away, he got injured, and in that game he had a really good game as well. So yeah, I was pleased to see that he's back on the pitch. And I know it's been said, and Holloway brought it up. I mean, that first time stroke of a goal attempt, the keeper just pushed round the post. I mean, what a goal that would have been had it gone in. And I know it's all, ifs, buts and maybes.
Me and Woz were talking about that just before we went live off camera. Like, the vision for the ball is one thing. The execution of the strike is another.
Someone scored a goal like that recently in the Premier League, didn't they? I can't remember who it was. The ball's come over the top. I want to say it was away at Chelsea. I can't remember who it was. And he scored it on a first-time finish, because what it is, you normally catch the keeper out, because the keeper's expected to take a touch. And bear in mind, he's a centre midfielder or centre back. He's been playing for us. The technique was unbelievable. You know what I mean? It was real decent. And I've always liked him. I think he's another player that offers you so much versatility. You know what I mean? He can play centre mid, he can play in those centre back positions. And he's going to be one of those that maybe we won't see him start in an awful lot of games, but he's definitely going to be one of those that is going to be coming on in games and helping us out and get when we're in positions where we need him to.
Especially with our midfield, because we've got, again, I've said it a lot this season. It always worries me when we're basically playing two in midfield. I know like Old Acre will drop a bit deeper from the forward line, and Glatz also drops back into place. But someone like Ball, as Fifey said, I think he must be 6'4", and he's a solid build. But you can see he's got a football brain on him, and he's got some tremendous technique. So having him fit again at this time of the season, that's going to be critical to us going forward, where players are going to be suspended, moving the team around. So it's like a new signing for me. So I'm really pleased to see him back.
Woody says, I'm 6 minutes behind, by the way, but why, when I mentioned Sunday that Nichols being affected with a new partnership with Murphy, he says I'm not having it. He, I presume, is me. But then when Wazza says it tonight, he's nodding his bloody head.
Right, it's the way I put it across to you, Fifey.
I'm nodding to the sense that Wazza is making a point. So I'm nodding in understanding of the point he was making. I don't agree that Nichols' performance could be that adversely affected by the fact that someone different was playing next to him, because it's not like they don't train together every day.
Yeah, I think we downplayed the toughness in this system, though, for the two in the centre of the park. They've got to cover an awful lot of ground. They've got to do an awful lot of work, and it's great that we've got them. And sometimes I think we do struggle with the physicality side, because no disrespect to Kilkenny and Nichols, they're not the biggest, are they? But they don't mind a tackle. They don't mind being up against these big lads in League Two and giving it their best. But then this is why it's so great, like we've all just said, to have someone like a James Ball, that if we are losing that physical side of things and you need someone in there to win a header, then you've got that option. You've got an Ollie Clark in there as well that can come in. I wouldn't be surprised one game.
He's not got a hand, foot and mouth.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised one game to see, if we go away from home, that Kilkenny and Nichols one of them might be injured, one of them might not be available, and Holloway goes, you know what, I'm going to roll this up. This is going to be a tough night or a tough game. That James Ball and Ollie Clark are in the middle. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and then you look at it from a completely other end of the spectrum. You lose that bit of technicality, but then you've got that, you know what I mean, the physicalness and stuff that you sometimes need in this league. So we keep saying it, but this squad just makes a massive difference. You think about this last season, or even the season before, we were looking at a game at home to a team that we would expect him to get 3 points, and you were missing 4 of our key players. I guarantee you we don't win the game. I just don't think we do. But the squad this year is
don't even get the draw half the time.
Unbelievable. And Nick said it earlier. We all said, why have they brought these Bristol City lads in? We can't keep these lot happy. How are we going to do that? How are we going to do this? And look, they come in and let's not forget they're young lads. Yeah, I know, like Knight the Bows took a bit of slack recently, but I thought he was still pretty solid Saturday. You know what I mean? He had his moments, but it's one of those. He's a defender at this level. But they've stepped up, and the squad is stepping up. So it's great to see. It is really, really good to see.
Okay, let's talk about some of the moments then, and let's talk about that first goal. It been a game of little consequence. The second half was an improvement, but come 70 odd minutes. By the way, it's full time in the Cheltenham game. They didn't pull it back. Notts County have won and gone up to third, meaning that there is now a 3 point gap between third and 10th. It's still monumentally stupid how tight this division is. The first goal, neatly played up to Palmer, who does a clever bit of footwork, cuts inside, beats his man, sets it, not on a plate as such, but sets it nicely. Prince Will, his shot is fairly well saved by the keeper, but Palmer uses all of his strength, doesn't just fall over, as I mentioned earlier, and, does what he's supposed to do, gets in the box and scores the goal. I know that you were particularly happy for him, so I will let you kick things off here.
And when you say it was played up to him, let's not forget a lot of people say about Palmer and not running and not fit. He ran down that channel to get that ball. And let's put it this way, if that was Aaron Drinan, a lot of people would be raving even more, going, oh, well, that's just classic Drinan. Because I thought Palmer done extremely well. I've already said that I'm a massive fan, and I probably will let him get away with a few misses that some fans are going, well, that's got to go in. But he's still getting in these positions and making the opportunities. He's not been the greatest goal scorer of his, you know what I mean? He's not a proven...
Although he's now on 5 since signing, and I don't think many people realise he's got 5 goals for us.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And he's not got, if you look back on his career, he hasn't scored an awful lot of goals. Like, he's not one of those that's going to score you 25 goals a season. He's just not going to... I'm hoping that might break, that you might get up to 20 or something. You never know. But it's one of those that he's got that nous. He's just very, very clever. He's good at what he does. And when he got down the channel, when he got hold of that ball, he knew he was isolated one-on-one. He waited for the perfect moment to play the pass. And it, like I say, it was a good strike from Prince. And then he had the nous to then get back in the box and make sure that he was there picking up the scraps. And that's exactly how many times have we conceded from goals like that recently, where we've not been the first one to the ball defensively, and we've criticised.
Well, give me 30 seconds, and I'll tell you was.
Yeah, well, yeah, oh yeah, that's yeah. Oh shit, yeah, I forgot about that. But yeah, wasn't it nice to see it on the other side, the flip side, that our striker got there first in front of a defender, and it was a very, a good finish. And I think he deserved it for that game. I think he put himself about for us. I think people forget that he takes 2 defenders away. You saw it so many times where they'd have one going up behind him to try and win the header from behind, and they'd have one screening in front of him. And it was very much like the Harry Smith effect, that they were playing it like it was Harry Smith. Because he can, like you said earlier, wins a lot of balls, technically, whether it's with his feet or with his head. And if he could just fine-tune that little bit more to find our players at times, you know what I mean? We're going to create loads more opportunities, because I just think when you're winning the ball that high, you've got opportunities then to get in on goal. Yeah. But I was very impressed with Palmer. Yeah, and like you say, that's 5 or 4 or 5 now, isn't it, or something like that? That he scored.
It's 5. That's his fifth goal of the season.
So, and I don't think he scored one with his head, has he? Whereas I think a lot of people are expecting him to be like, get the crosses in, get him on the end of it with his head, and I think they've all been with his feet. If I'm correct,
and he hasn't come in. He's the right character, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? Like I know a lot of people, and I'm one of those that always says, well, hard work should just be an automatic for a professional footballer, and it should be. But sometimes it doesn't come naturally to these. He's dropped down from what people say 2 divisions in the Championship. He didn't play a lot in the Championship, so let's not get massively excited there, because people were going, oh, well, he should do this because he played in the Championship. Well, he played sparsely in the Championship. Do you know what I mean? Didn't play an awful lot of games. But he's come down and he's proven, and he said that I'm not no glamour. I'm all about working hard and working for the team. And he's come in, because there's no way we would have signed him if he didn't have the right attitude and he wasn't a Holloway person to bring in.
Yeah.
And he's come in and he's starting now to show what he's got about him. And I think him and Drinan, and with Glatzel a lot either side of it or wherever they put him, it's a massive front three that, when they're confident, can score an awful lot of goals at this level. So
I still don't think, just hearing you say that, I still don't think it's a him and Drinan. I think it's a him or Drinan. I don't think they go together.
No, I don't.
Hard one, because I think he's going to have to find a way to put them together, because I can't. I'm one of those at the moment, start of the season, when you put 2 of them together, I would have gone with Palmer every day. But now it's very hard, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? So I don't see why their partnership couldn't work, because you've got that striker, it's that big, and not that Drinan's not big, but he's that work, a bit more gets around, mobile, and Palmer's that one that would be in the middle winning the flicks, and I can't see why it couldn't work, and I wouldn't be giving up on it yet. And when you can
I personally feel you do Drinnen and Glatzel as a 2, or you have Palmer with
2
say,
either side.
like Palmer with a Bowden and Glatzel, or Bowden and
Prince. We saw it at the
Ibachaman.
end, didn't we? Yeah, we did. Yeah. No, I can see what you mean. To cut
And
the
I'm
two
not
of them.
saying that Drinnen can't be one of those 2 with him, but I'm
Yeah.
saying you wouldn't have, in my mind, you don't have a Palmer and Drinnen. If they're on the pitch together, it's as a 3.
Okay. Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah. No, maybe, yeah. So maybe Drinnen then gets sacrificed and gets pushed a little bit wider of the 2. Yeah. Which Drinnen, people were saying, oh no, we can't do that to Drinnen. He does score a lot of goals from that area. Like Drinnen, you know what I mean? He's very naturally that he can do that. So I think when we, you know what I mean, when
The joy
Drinnen's
of all
back,
these options, as you say, was with the depth.
when Drinnen's back from suspension, it's something that they've got to try and work out, because these 2 have got to play, haven't they?
He's available tomorrow, which we'll touch on later.
Ooh,
Mhm.
You go in?
I'm very strongly considering it. Very, very strongly considering it. Nick, the Tranmere battled and fought, and as you say, that you might not like a lot of their tactics, but they set out their game plan, they executed their game plan. And again, something Ben said that resonated with me as I was reflecting on the game. When you watch that, you can see why they draw a lot of games. That they are strong, they are physical. It's not like we were ripping through them, so they are tactically aware. They don't necessarily create a lot, but you do worry when they do get a sort of head of steam in attack. And they did equalise. Now there are probably 3 elements of the goal that I'm not happy with, and probably 3 elements that we could have stopped it from happening. But let's just give Tranmere their moment and talk about the character they showed to get back into it, Nick.
Yeah, I think again they're one of these sides, and like probably the majority of sides in this league, that will dig in, certainly away from home, will put your home players under as much pressure as they can in the right areas, and say with this, there is always a chance that a team is going to score. Certainly against us, as I said earlier, we seem to have a problem keeping clean sheets, whether it's through bad defending, bad luck, post rebounds, you know. But fair play, players got to get in those positions to make the most of it. So you know they did what was necessary. I did watch the goal back. I don't know if I can't quite remember the build up. I'm basically the shot from outside the box. The guy was all on his own, nobody near him. Obviously, it hit the post, and Dennis was it that
it just sort of hit him and went in.
Yeah, but again, that's the luck you get just by working and getting in those positions. So you know, if we'd have scored that, we'd have been more than happy. It doesn't matter how they go in. If they go in, that's all you can ask from your players. So I don't know if they deserved a goal, but there was always the worry that they were going to get one decent chance and they could score. But I was never comfortable that one goal was enough. I think we say it week in and week out. We need that second goal at least, or probably a third goal with the way Swindon play.
I don't want to put jinx on it, Nick, but I think we both looked at each other and said, "Oh, we need another one here," and then Tranmere scored.
Yeah, because we see it week in and week out, don't we? So, but yeah, so you've got to say fair play to him for sticking in there.
Well, let's dissect it a little bit. You know, it's an area Swindon can definitely improve. Issue number 1, and it's not a major issue, but it has contributed to what's happened. They've got the ball in their own half, and Swindon at this point in the game have decided that the high press is not happening. They're 1-0 up. They're happy. So he's got all the time in the world to play the hopeful long ball, as it appeared at the time. that he wanted to. Now, fair play to him. He was quite accurate with it. He got it right on the edge of our penalty box, where issue number 2 happened. Ryan Delaney, I believe it was, went up for a bullet defensive header and put it into absolute no man's land where there was no Swindon Town player to pick up the loose ball, where issue number 3 arrives. And as Nick so eloquently described it, the on-rushing Tranmere attacker had absolutely no one around him and was able to put the shot in. Now, unfortunately for Ripley, who has made an attempt to save it, it's come rebounding off the post. And Will Wright does what Will Wright does, and that is absolutely sweet fuck all, and just allows Dennis to spoon it into the other corner. He just stands there and watches it all happen. So 4 possible points where that could have been completely avoided and we took none of them.
Yeah, I find it hard to disagree with you.
Good.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, no,
it's a lot easier for everyone if people.
The only thing I'll let off is that the high press it can just sometimes happen where if you don't get it right,
that's why it was the least of my concerns of the 4 moments.
For me, the main concern was the Delaney header, because I think he's seen Munro there and he's tried to be cute, thinking, well, I could just give this a little header to Munro and then Munro's away up the left. And I think he just needed to think, it's the 87th, 88th minute. It's a long ball into our box. Just try and deal with it. Get the ball as far away as you possibly can. Do you know what I mean? Just even if you're heading it out or wide, or he's tried to be so cute with it that he's headed it back, just straight back into the action where all the players are coming back. And that's what I don't disagree with. That's the first opportunity to stop it. And then for me, I know you're putting the blame at Wright's door. I think Tafazoli...
Not solely,
but
he does have to take a very long, hard look at himself.
Tafazoli and Wright, he's gone in between both of them, and none of them have decided to pick him up. And the only thing I'll give Wright a bit of credit, that Wright's been on the pitch 85 minutes, running. Tafazoli hasn't. So, you know what I mean? You'd maybe expect a little bit more from that lad, that he's maybe gone, well, I might be able to deal with this guy here. But like you say, there's a bit of fortune to it. I don't think the one that's not at fault for me is Connor Ripley, because I just feel like he's gone to make an effort to make the save. It's come. How many times do you see it that you hit the post and it goes out of play, or it goes off to, you know what I mean, or it falls to one of your lads? And it's just happened for Tranmere that it's fallen back to them and it sort of hit him. And it was sort of like the slowest dribble into the corner, into the other corner, wasn't it? So, yeah, there's a lot of unfortunate parts to it. And I agree, we definitely need to work on defending this better. But for me, I think you stop this at the first point of contact. And Delaney had the opportunity to do that, and he didn't. He let us down in that moment. And I agree with what you say about reacting after. But we've seen it happen at the other end where Palmer's got on the end of it.
We never react to, like, what the most common thing that's like you heard shouting from the seat behind you was seconds and thirds. And how many times are we just not reacting to
sometimes we're just not there defensively as the free, we're not. And I agree, but it goes back to me to the first contact, and we just needed to win that first contact and to head it further away. It needed to just go wherever it needed to go. He just needed to put it anywhere but there. And that's what sort of cost us a bit there. But then if we're giving McGregor that moment that he hasn't played for a long time, we've got to give Delaney that card as well. Do you know what I mean? He's come on to play the last 10, 15 minutes and I didn't mind the change, because Holloway's probably thinking, well, Tranmere are going to go more direct now. They've brought Davidson on. They've brought the lad that scored come on. So we were thinking, get some of our bigger, more physical players on at that end of the pitch so we could help deal with that, which I had no problem with the change. But the problem was that he just didn't deal with it properly. And that's got to fall at Delaney's door, I'm afraid.
Okay. No, that's fair. But ultimately, it didn't matter, because Finn Munro turned prime early 2000s winger, cut inside, and on his weak foot, put one in the top corner to send the county ground into a wall of noise. There was a big outpouring of emotion when the winner went in, Nick.
Yeah, any stoppage time goal is great to see. Even if it's a scrappy, horrible goal, what you would describe as. But to see one like that, I mean, seeing his interviews after, he said his dad told him, if you get the chance, just hit it. And boy, did he hit it. Whether he, again, with the build-up, he played it in, I think it was to Prince, and the ball comes straight back to him. Whether that was just a bit of luck, that I don't think that was a move that they'd worked on.
One straight off the training ground.
Yeah, I don't think it was that. If it was, fair play to whoever did it. Apparently, a lot of the coaching staff have told Holloway that they've all been getting him to practice with his wrong foot because they knew he needed to and he would score with it. So, fair play to the coaching staff. But when he had the opportunity, and it wasn't an easy, the goal wasn't wide open. There were a number of players between him and the goal. And I guess it's one of those, it's either going to smash into the back of the net or it's going to end up at the top of the Stratton Bank. And thankfully for us, it nestled in the back of the net. And the whole thing, it's a thing I hate. The knee slide, the celebration, the diving on it. I mean, we were going off our heads. Me and Was was just, we were on one, and everybody else around us. It was, it's just brilliant. And Swindon are good at it. How many times do we do these late winners? I'd much rather we were 3 or 4-0 up in the 70th minute, but we ain't going to be like that, and I think we just have to accept it. But what you can say is the team do keep going. They do keep pressing. They keep looking for that goal, and overall, we deserve the 3 points. So, you can say justice was done. We got the 3 points, which we desperately needed. Let's be honest. If we'd have dropped 2 points on that, it would be a massive different conversation, different mood around the county ground. Everybody come out of there, was smiling and talking and enjoying. It just makes a massive, big difference. It was what we needed, and he delivered it brilliantly.
Yeah, absolutely.
But don't tell Aston Villa.
No. At this point, obviously we are nationally and internationally renowned, so there's bound to be a scout from Aston Villa tuning in to see what we think. It's the only to paraphrase Jason last night, it is the only thing he's done all season. You absolutely do not want to recall him in January.
And he's suspended this Saturday as well. What a yellow card, and his discipline record is disgraceful.
Well, boys, take a little breather, because in injury time, we've been joined by a fourth full, so he can answer the last question before we move on. Evening, Ben.
Evening. How are we doing, gents? Are we all right? Don't mind me being a little bit late. Sorry, I went at work this evening.
Must be gone 10 o'clock.
Yeah, it must be gone 10 o'clock. It's 10 past 10. I thought I'd just jump on. My PlayStation's downloading at the minute, so I thought I'd come on.
Ben, two final points on the game before we move on. The age-old rule is don't fall in love with a lone player. But if we are going to, it's one like Munrooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooooo Swindon culture, because you could see by the knee slide celebration and stuff what it meant to him to score that goal, and what him scoring meant to his teammates.
Yeah, you can tell he loves playing for the club, and what he posted online as well after was really quite nice. And he's one of those triers, isn't he? He puts in 100% effort all the game, and his attitude is spot on, which is why he's such a good footballer. And he's got the defensive and the attacking attributes played on a much higher level. I think Villa are going to have a choice, because they are going to be League One clubs looking at him. And it's whether Villa decides to leave him at Swindon and have a P next to his first full season in English football, or whether they want to try him out at a lower mid-table League One team. I'd like to think they give him us the end of the season, and maybe we can have another go at him in League One next season. But we'll have to wait and see.
I did see one Villa fan account on X retweet the video of his goal, and he said, "Swindon really do wonders for our youngsters."
Yeah, exactly that. And
that's the reputation we've got. I'm happy with that.
being absolutely selfish, I'll go, well, why take him out of a winning team when he's playing really good football? And, you know, under a stewardship of an experienced manager who's clearly doing wonders for him, why take him out of that environment? Villa might see differently. I think it was Steven Gerrard that whipped the last one away, Kessler Hayden away, because he did that amazing track back and tackle against Harry De Bruyne, and I think that was the moment Gerrard went, "Yeah, Madam Matt, thanks." So hopefully we won't get that again. But it all depends. Like my attitude, because we've been hurt so many times by loans, is they're on a 6-month loan deal, and it's up to the club to extend. You know, the own club to extend it. I'm hopeful, but it's out of our hands, isn't it? So, you know, there's no point worrying or fretting about it. If he stays, wonderful. If he doesn't, well, we're going to have to work our way around it and find somebody else, aren't we? But he was superb. It's amazing how many times he gets man of the match as well. He's a superb player.
Lipo asked, what hasn't Munro got at this level? It's interesting you ask that, because for those who weren't in attendance on Friday night, I threw a question at the panel and said in January, if they had the choice of keeping Munro and selling Drinan, or keeping Drinan and losing Munro, which way would they go? I have to say, shout out Holly, who at full time, her reaction was to tweet us and put, "This is for all the panelists on Friday night, showing Munro the love he deserves," because the majority of the feedback, probably quite rightly, was it's harder to find a goal scoring striker than it is a half talented left wing back. But Drinan wasn't there. Munro pops up himself with the winner and celebrates in front of the fools, in essence, sticking middle fingers up to every single one of them who said they'd rather keep the striker.
Do you think he was? Do you think he was in hiding at the counter ground?
I said keep Munro, because it's
hard
to find somebody at that level.
He did kind of make a big beeline for the Fools, didn't he? Do you think he got his? He was hiding behind the bar, going, "You'd rather have Drinan than me, then? All right, then." So he just gave us the big one in front of the.
It was very apt of all times to score in that game when Drinan's not on the pitch. It was very apt after the question, a little under 24 hours previous. It did make me chuckle when I got that message. Ben, a 95th minute winner, you think is it then? The game is done. There can be nothing else happen. But no, Tranmere had other ideas, and their manager talked himself into a sending off.
Yeah, I think they would have robbed a point off us, because that second half they never looked like scoring, and then they did. But yeah, I don't know why he got sent off. What happened? I think maybe he just probably got a little bit wound up. Maybe a few sly words from the shithouse.
I believe, Ben, that he'd spent a fair amount of time outside of his technical area. He kept being warned. Then when he got told about it for the umpteenth time, he may have said something unsavoury, and the ref said, "I've had enough of this. Off you go, lad."
No, that's his own stupid fault then. He needs to learn his own discipline, doesn't he? To be fair, Tranmere... by example. Yeah, the defensively, Tranmere looked okay, but they offered very little going forward. They got what they deserved, really, which was not a lot. I think first half, both teams deserved to lose, but second half, I think Swindon were much the better side, and I think Tranmere getting a goal was a bonus for them, because they really didn't deserve one. It was. I wouldn't say it was comfortable, but it was. We had that in the bag. We deserved that from the second half performance alone. First half, not. Now, I'm sure we've already discussed this, so I'm not going to go back in there. But I think for the second half performance, it was much deserved. So well done, lads.
Okay. Well, still to come on tonight's Fools Rush In, we reflect, we look ahead to tomorrow's must-win game against MK Dons in the Vizu Trophy.
Absolutely.
But only a 2-goal victory will do. We reflect on what was a wonderful self-indulgent night of fun, laughs and opinions at FRI Live on Friday. But I'm going to let the boys take a moment, and I'm going to try and do my best impression of Woody and Rich as I give you a quick rundown of what happened at our local women's football teams. Starting with Corsham, who it turned out it was a derby. Rich didn't seem to know this on Friday night, but they did have a derby, and they back at home for the first time after a couple of away games, and they continued their winning start to the league campaign. Caution picking up 3 points against Bath. Bassett found themselves 2 up at half time, but ended up drawing 2-2. Good friend of the show, Maddie, on the score sheet for I think the 4th, if not 5th game in a row. Really in form at the moment, but unfortunately Bassett dropped points. I do believe, and I might be wrong, but I do believe they're still unbeaten in the league. They had won their previous games leading into that. Their only defeat coming in the cup, I think. So still unbeaten, but dropping points in the league. And then myself and Woody were in attendance as Swindon Town women entertained Cheltenham in the League Cup. As Woody had said, it might not have the same, not Derby Day rivalry, because the men's team doesn't necessarily have a Derby Day rivalry, but it doesn't have that necessarily same local rivalry that's in the men's game. However, Cheltenham are a division above. Swindon went into it 16 wins in a row, so it was going to be interesting to see if they could do it against higher league opposition again. And having fallen 1 goal behind, they came back to win 3-1 on the night, 2 from Annie Colston, and a fine strike from distance from Livy Davies, who the keeper had cleared the ball straight into her path, and she showed great technique and composure to take the touch and drift it into what was an unguarded net by that point. Swindon very much deserving of the win. Some fine performances, which I couldn't do justice by naming the players individually. Woody would be much better adept at that. I'm sure he will have plenty to say when we next talk about it. But Swindon Town very much deserving of the win. That's 17 wins in a row now for Swindon Town women. An unbelievable run.
Unbelievable.
And as we said at the beginning of the show, they've drawn Bournemouth, who won the league that Swindon are in last season. As Mike suggested, they'll be looking to go up again this year. So when that game comes around in sort of early to mid-January, that is going to be one hell of a test for Swindon Town. Swindon Fan 98 says here, great resilience on Sunday for Swindon. It absolutely was. And again, some fine individual performances, but a fine team performance as well. I think everyone associated with Swindon Town women can be very, very pleased with their efforts. And speaking of which, I'm not entirely sure who yet, but we are currently speaking to Swindon Town women to bring on another guest in the coming weeks. So do watch this space as we look forward to catching up with someone at Swindon Town women. But yes, none of the 3 sides lost. That's the good thing. 2 of them won. That's even better. Cup progression for Swindon. And a fantastic afternoon all round. So congratulations to all 3 sides. I hope when Woody and Rich watch this back, they feel I've done that little segment justice in their absence. I know the Visu Trophy isn't something a lot of fans care about, which is unfortunate. While I was doing a little bit of prep for tonight, I was watching the OSC coverage, and a lot of their panel was saying it's not really one that they're interested in personally, which is absolutely fine, you know. But I still believe, Ben, and I will start with you, I still believe that if we approach tomorrow correctly, we can get the result needed, which is a win by 2 clear goals. And I believe that the whole point in having the squad that we have is to attack this competition and try and win it.
Absolutely. I genuinely think that we've got the squad. Why not actually fucking go for it this year? And why not two promotions, a promotion and a cup final? That would be wonderful, wouldn't it? The only thing that MK Dons have quite a big squad as well. MK Dons do have a big squad. They're like us. They've got lots of players to pick from. So, in theory, they should, even their second string, have quite a strong team to put forward. But they did get muttered by a West Ham team. So, and they've got nothing to play for. So, why risk anyone, really? So, we'll have to wait and see. I'm pleased Drennan's playing. It looks as though Munro's going to be on the left after the news that Kurtman's broken his toe.
He's suspended, isn't he? For
Oh, no, Kurtman's broken his toe. Kurtman's out for about 6 weeks. Yeah, no, I listened to the pre-match presser. Kurtman's out for quite some time.
Wow.
So Munro has to play. We've got no one on right wing back because both our right wing backs are injured. But the two ill boys,
knock as well.
Yeah. But both of our midfield boys, Clark and Kilkenny, are both back and will play. And Palmer's not playing either. Apparently he's got a knock. Maybe from that knee slump he did.
Holloway did sort of joke that he said it was remarkable that Drinnan was available to play in this one, and when it comes to managing minutes, he isn't available for the next 2 games, so he can have all the minutes he wants.
Absolutely.
So Drinnan's expected to play 90.
Yeah.
As I say, it'll be interesting to see exactly what team comes out. It wouldn't shock me at all to see the likes of Delaney start.
Yeah, he will start, definitely, 100%. I think Mbappe will start as well. Maybe Wilson Brown because he missed the weekend. I don't know how unfit he is. I think it'd be a reason. Listening to Holloway today, he talks about going far in the competition and actually wanting to have a real go at it. I think he was really disappointed after the West Ham result. So I think he fancies it. So I think it might be worth, if you're a Swindon fan, it's going to be worth tuning in because we are going to have a right go at them. There's 200 tickets sold as well. So fair play for the Swindon fans that are going. 200 tickets sold. Right.
Some of us are still considering making a late dart for it then.
Yeah. No, I've got work, but I'm actually impressed by the Swindon faithful. Then, if you're going to MK Dons tomorrow, I have nothing but respect for you, and you're a bigger fan than me. To be quite honest. I have full respect, especially with the busy schedule that we've got coming up, Christmas around the corner and everything. There's a lot of little things I'd rather spend my money on and the games on telly than MK Dons in a virtual paint, whatever, group game. But good for them.
Ben's given a bit of a rundown there, Nick, but another player we know isn't available is Murphy because he's been called up for international duty again.
Yeah.
So there will be alterations, but I still fully expect, listening to the interview and hearing Ben's rundown there, I think Holloway is going to go quite strong.
Well, I was writing out what I think the team could be. And Holloway did sort of hint that he might not be playing a back three. He said there was a bit of a hint in what he was saying that he could even go to a back four. And he said 100% obviously Ward starts. And I was looking what could his back four be? And I've got Mabete, Delaney, Tafazoli, and Gray. So I think Gray will play.
Who have you got at right back there? Mabete?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know he's predominantly left, but the footballer should be able to play any side, certainly as a fullback. And I think the midfield could be really strong. Kilkenny, Ball and Clark. I mean, that's an available midfield. And if that's the three, that is a real strong midfield. And up front, Drynan, Princewell and Bodin. Again, that's a hell of a front three that's available. So, and he's obviously said there's players that need minutes. Well, Bodin needs minutes. Princewell needs minutes. Drynan is going to start 100%. Ball needs minutes. Clark and Kilkenny missed Saturday. So he'll probably want to get maybe 60 minutes for them or 45 or 60 minutes. So I think we're going to have a hell of a side out for that competition.
Well, I think Glatz is going to play wing back as well, do you think? Because we've got no right wing back.
Yeah, but
he's played a lot of football recently. I think he probably needs a bit of a rest. I would see him on the bench.
If we've got no right, left back, wing back, and no left, I think that Nick's bang on. I think the only answer is a change of shape, and I think you'll see. I think you'll see full centre halves. I do. I would personally think. I think you'll see Knight Labau. I think you'll see.
Yeah, I don't know if is he fit.
I think you'll see Knight Labau. I think you'll see Knight Labau play right back. I think you'll see Mabete and Delaney in the centre, and I wouldn't be surprised if Wilson Brown's fit to come in and play left back. I think that's what you'll probably see.
Tafazoli in there?
Sorry?
Did you have Tafazoli in there?
I don't know if he'll take the risk with Tafazoli in this one. I just don't think he will. I think if he, it's whether he plays. It's going to be one of Tafazoli or Mabete, isn't it, or Knight Nabal?
Yeah.
But I think if he needs someone to play fullback, I think Knight Nabal's more of an option on the right, and I think Wilson Brown's more of an option on the left.
I definitely think Wilson Brown playing left back makes sense.
Yeah, and then I think the midfield picks itself. I think if you're going to go for this competition, and this is where it sort of pisses me off really, because I can't say that we didn't go for it against West Ham, but that was the game that you needed to win. And we were disappointing against West Ham, really disappointing. That's the game you've got to win. If we win that game, we're going into this game thinking, well, we just need to get something to win the group. Or we're qualified, aren't we? Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't even matter. So this is what I say, that people going, oh, we're having a bit of a go in this competition. Are we actually? Because I know you can lose to any team, but losing to that West Ham lot, it didn't really sit nicely with me. I just thought we were undone by some kids, and I just couldn't really have it. But I think he's got to go strong tomorrow, and then like Nick said, if the results run in for us, then he can bring people off, can't he? But do
you want him to go strong? Do you want him to go attack it and try and get the result, or are you quite happy for us to just be like, nah, don't worry about it?
You know my views on this competition. I'm not going to lose sleep tomorrow if we don't get the result that we need and that we don't go through. Let's put it that way. I'm not massively fussed on the competition. I'm not, but it's another game, a competitive game with our massive squad. So it hits the nail on the head for me that it's a great opportunity for Bowden and Prince after Saturday, where they come on and both made an impact, both to have a game and to try and get on the score sheet and to give them that bit more confidence. I'd be wrapping Glatzel up in cotton wool. We're going to need him on Saturday. I wouldn't have Glatzel out there. I probably wouldn't have Tafazoli with his injury record. The likes of Kilkenny will play, but not a lot. I don't think Clark will be back out there. Nichols will
Holloway
be rested.
has suggested he's allowed to make 5 subs and 4 of them are manufactured, that he already knows who and when he's planning to sub.
Exactly. So I think we'll start strong in the hope that the first half
get the go-to up,
and then he can sort of take his foot. But let's put it this way: Ben was bang on with his point. MK Dons have got a massive squad, and they're going to have players that are chomping at the bit trying to get back into their team. So just because MK Dons are out of the competition, it doesn't mean they're going to be no pushover and that it's going to be an easy.
Correct.
Game.
However, and I bow to his experience and knowledge when I say this. Again, when I was listening into the OSC episode earlier, in the 2 games to date that MK Dons have played, they have had a mix of what would be deemed their second string and a large amount of their under 18s. So it seems against their policy, when they're now out the competition, to suddenly start playing a lot of their more established players.
I can't say I haven't looked into it enough. So if that's the case, then I totally agree with. We've got a massive opportunity tomorrow, and actually, when you look at it, it should be quite disappointing if we don't. Do you see what I mean? If we don't get the result that we need. Because,
what to go was. I want to go.
Oh, stop exciting yourself.
I want to go was.
It'll be interesting. I'd like to see a change of shape, to see how we set up, and and it might be a blessing in disguise that we haven't got the wing backs like Snowden and McGregor. But maybe will he go? I don't know how he'll do it. Maybe would Knight Nabal maybe play a wing back position? I don't know. It's a difficult one, because if Munro's still fit and he's suspended for Saturday, then it seems the perfect opportunity to still pick Munro, unless he puts Munro further forward and then decides that Bowden goes in the 10 and one of Clark, Kilkenny or Ball doesn't start. The options are endless, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely are.
And I still feel he still thinks he wants to dip the toes in as some of the youngsters, like that Gray that Nick was saying about.
I think Gray will play.
Yeah,
that he wants to give him. He was happy with him the other week. So why not give him some more game time in that type of competition? Because that's what he can use it for. He was talking about, we haven't got an under 21 side. The jump from under 18s to the next level is massive. So give them as much experience on the pitch with experienced players around them. So that would be a great opportunity for somebody like Gray to get more minutes.
Okay. Well, let's see how you are feeling about the game, regardless of your thoughts on the competition. Nick, I'll start with you. A prediction for tomorrow, please.
4-0.
Oh,
No
yes.
messing. Straight in there. 4-0.
Let's go, Ben.
4-1 Swindon.
Ooh.
I think it'll be 3-0 up at half time.
Oh, I want to go.
Fifey's going. Fifey's going.
I'll turn it
Come
around
on,
for you, Fifey. No, joking. No. Look, the way you've described it to me, and the way that the squad looks, and the way that we're going to set up, and the way that MK Dons might not put out a decent team, it's got to be a Swindon win. It's whether we're ruthless and clinical enough to win by how many we need to win by to make sure we go through. Would it be such the Swindon way that we go 2-0 up, absolutely cruising, then concede a scrappy goal in the 80th minute and it doesn't matter?
Well, if I do go and that happens, you better mute the WhatsApp chat.
Yeah, well,
I'd love you to go 5 feet. 5 feet. I want to vlog if you go.
yeah.
Mike says if Fifey doesn't go, 7-3 to us. If Fifey goes, 0-0.
Fifey don't go. That's what Mike's saying.
5 feet go. I want a Falls Russian blog with 5 feet. I want to do that.
One.
I want another blog, a live blog.
I can't go against all of you lot. I'm gonna say 3-1 that will do enough.
Oh, I was thinking 3-1 as well. Okay. Sean says we win the group then, Nick. If we win 4-0.
So does the group winner get a home tie, do you know, or is it just a straight draw?
That's the benefit.
Yeah,
the group winner
gets a home tie, yeah.
Right.
Let's go. Come on. Listen,
come on.
I will make a very late call, but I'm very, very tempted to go. I really,
Go 5 feet. Do it.
But if you are one of the 200 that are definitely going, as we always say, travel safe. It's not going to, Stadium MK is generally empty anyway, but it's going to look particularly empty tomorrow. So be as loud as you can, be as proud as you can, and let's as much as, and Walter said it himself, he said it himself on this show before, he might not really care about this competition, but we get to Wembley, guess who will be the first person that buys a ticket?
This first person will be buying Wembley hospitality. Club Wembley tickets.
Listen,
right.
For the Bulls. Club Wembley tickets for the Bulls if we get to Wembley. Banging. Let's do it.
Would love Swindon Town to get the result tomorrow and progress. And let's attack a cup competition. We're out the League Cup. We're going to obviously go on an FA Cup run. Let's have a Virtue Trophy run as well.
Let's do the treble, lads. Why not?
Sean
Let's do the
says,
treble.
is it nearer for you, Fifey? Yeah, because I'm the right side of Leicester for it, and because I can go from work, it's pretty much an hour bang on from my office to the.
You got no excuse, Fifey. You got no excuse.
Straight from work.
You bought go to Rotherham.
Yeah, we did go to Rotherham.
I was never going to Rotherham.
Well, yeah,
go MK, drop off at Nando's, get yourself a nice Nando's next to the ground. That you see, into the match. 4-0 Swindon.
Look,
happy days, little blog.
I'm fully accepting there are people in much worse situations than me, but all I will remind people is single dad living on his own, bills to pay.
Christmas
Hey, that is better off than dad, family of 4, bills to pay. You're right.
But I am very, very tempted, and I'm not going to sit here and not promise that whether I go or not, there won't be a Swindon shirt and a pair of jeans in the back of the car just in case.
Just
all day.
At least you don't have to pay for your lad to go to football. Say you don't have to pay for your lad to go to football because he doesn't like it. I'm still paying for my lad to go to football.
I've got to pay for my lad to go to football. I paid for Bolton tickets, they still might not go. And he says, "Oh, I might go Rogers instead."
Is it on the telly?
It is on the telly, yes.
Oh, winner.
7 o'clock. Telly on.
Anyway, we are into extra time. We've done our usual 90 minutes, but we're into extra time. And we really should talk about the events of Friday night because we've been talking about it for weeks. The date finally came. Don't forget it is a 7 o'clock kickoff tomorrow. I'll be honest, and all 3 of you guys were there. 10 of the 14 fools were there on the night. Unfortunately, it is Mike. Yeah, we were 4 down on the night, but 10 of us were there. And the guys will tell you, I was a lot more stressed about this one than I was the first time we did it. I don't know why. I was just more stressed about it. But the feedback I've had has been really good. I don't have the final figure, but I believe we're somewhere around £430 raised for charity, which I think is a great outcome. I know, Nick, you were kind of saying if we can get between 400 and 500, that would be a great result. So I think we're about 430. The feedback I've had is positive that from the people that were in attendance. I will come back on the one thing that Sean said, because it isn't the only time I've heard that feedback. And in typical Fools fashion, there's a reason for that. I'll come back to that in a minute. But guys, I'll ask you for your thoughts. Was your first on my screen? What did you think of the live show on Friday? Did you enjoy it? Would you want to do it again?
Look, any reason to make a bit of money for charity is all good for me, especially two charities that we've all knocked on about that were, you know what I mean, we've all got sort of things with mental health. This is the reason we all got brought together as a group to help us, you know what I mean, football fans. The kids charity side of it, young kids, I went through sort of things with Theo, where we were in hospital for a long period, and you know, we all go through challenges with your children.
The situation that Nick's family's going through.
That's exactly what I was just about to say with Nick's family, and anything that helps and puts a little donation in their pocket. Don't get me wrong, it just helps. It just makes a difference, and whether we, you know what I mean, whether it was just us lot in there talking rubbish like we do on these, and we made some money for charity. I'm glad people came and they had a good time. That's great to hear the feedback. We always do it because we want our people that watch us to have a good time. But for me, it was all about making some money for 2 really good local charities. And, you know, I mean, that's what it's all about for us, isn't it, really?
Yeah, absolutely. Nick, you were obviously one of the big players behind the scenes in helping to sort this one out. Were you happy with the end result?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it was good to actually have the event at the county ground in the Legends. So that for us, I think that was really nice to be able to do that. And say the first part was a normal Fools. We had a few good discussions and disagreements like we do. We had some interaction with the people that come to watch, which was really great. So I loved
some of the points that were being thrown at us from the people that were there.
So that was really good. The deal or no deal, which was swap or no swap game, I was really pleased that went well. I mean, I'm lucky because I've got the time to put this stuff together, because obviously I'm retired, so I could do that. I was happy with it.
Boys. Little story just on that you may not be aware of. So one of the prizes that we gave away was like a Swindon Town bundle, if you will, which included tickets to a women's game. And the family or the couple that won that, they asked if they could go to the Cheltenham game yesterday. So spoke to the club. They said, we can sort that out, no problem. They brought their 2 daughters, not young girls, older daughters. It was their first in-person game of football. Like, they'd watched football on TV or in a pub before, but never been to a game. So it was their first experience of it. And they went as a family of 4. They sat with me and Woody as well. Obviously saw a great game of football, but not only that, they clearly need to put some money on the lottery to the Bakers, because as they entered the grounds, they bought a couple of tickets for the raffle, and they came away winning a signed shirt from the women's team as well.
Banging. Well done. Nice one.
I could not believe what was happening. I was like, come on now.
They've done well.
Yeah, they've had a great weekend. They really enjoyed it, and I believe that they want to go again. So that's what it's all about.
Brilliant.
Sorry, Nick, do continue.
Yeah, no, I'm really pleased how the game went. We had an array of decent prizes. I think everybody who got one was happy with it, and they were spread around. So it was good, and we added a couple of extras in. We come up with a Swindon Town team on the night, which was quite interesting in the debate on who should or shouldn't be in. And there were people disagreeing with the choices that were made. But
there was some subject decisions going on with some legends not getting a look in.
I got to take a seat for that bit. The guys took pity on me, and Nick was obviously hosting the game, and Joe was doing the glamorous assistant bit, meaning I got to sit down. So I went and sat next to Chris, and she couldn't believe some of the choices that were being made. She's like, "What's happening here?" Loving how passionately she was getting involved.
Age range, wasn't there? Mixed age range in the group, so it was
and mixed Swindon Town knowledge as well.
Yeah.
Well, how Downsborough doesn't get in ahead of West Fordringham, I've never done. Blokes want to lead cup.
The best one was Gordon Greer getting in just because I cheered.
Yeah,
Gordon Greer. Who did you get Gordon Greer getting ahead of?
Calderwood.
Colin Calderwood. Really? And Haaland as well. Haaland didn't get a kick, get in the squad. How did that not happen? Oh my word!
Yeah, it was good. So added a bit to it, rather than just boring opening a box and that's the prize you've won. Just make it a little bit better.
It was good.
Yeah, I was pleased how it worked out.
Yeah, it was very good.
Just seeing, Mike says that Chris said on the OSC that she really enjoyed it. Huge shout out to Chris, who I seem to have spent the entire weekend with this weekend. She caught me in the Legends Lounge again on Saturday before the Tranmere game, and she shouted at me, waved hello. And as I walked over with my drink when I arrived, she was telling everyone at the OSC table about it then as well. And then saw a happy smiley face on Sunday before the women's game as well. I've got a lot of time for Chris. Sean says, I was thinking that, Nick, in terms of the boxes would have took a fair old while to do. Yeah, Nick put a lot of effort into those.
Nick did. Yeah.
Ben, your thoughts on the events of Friday?
Absolute success, wasn't it? I think everyone had a really good time. You can tell the interaction with the group and people that showed up, they were into it as well. I think the drinks were flowing as well. So there was a good time had by all. Good football
Your family
debate.
Were in attendance? Did they enjoy
themselves? Yeah, my mum and dad, my sister turned up as well, and they thoroughly enjoyed themselves as well. They had a really good time, and I think it was really good. I'm looking forward to the next one.
I noticed that the family picture that I kindly took for you never made it into the group chat in terms of who got pictures on the night.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'll get this posted tonight. Yeah, no, it was a lovely family photo. Thank you, Fifey. I'll stick it on the group chat. Sorry.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Like the boys have said, I can only echo everything that's said. That there was some really nice moments. It was great to share it with family, friends, and fellow Swindon Town fans. It was a huge moment for us. Obviously, celebrating 5 years. It was the second time we'd ever done a live show. It was, I think it was definitely twice the size in terms of crowd that we had the first time. Mike asks, did Rich cope after his half a pint? No, he definitely didn't. He was
Rich had an opinion, didn't he?
Yeah, Rich waffled a lot. It was quite amusing. To come back on the point that the one constructive criticism we've had, and it's a very fair point, but it's very FRI what happened. So I've had a couple of people now mention the people that were sat furthest back at times were struggling to hear us because of the lack of microphone. Now, the club did offer us to hire out their kit. And when we discussed it, it was very adamantly told to me by two separate fools. I won't name them because it's unfair, but no, we don't need to hire it because we can sort it ourselves. And then rocked up on the night and no one had brought anything. And I was like, right, okay, we're going to have to shout then. No, largely it was fine. And when we do it again for something,
we will have to.
We'll have mine.
We will be much better equipped because you learn as you go.
It's great to learn, and you can pick up these points. It would have been maybe what we could have done. We could have learned, and maybe we had room to maybe bring the tables closer. We could have moved everyone a little bit further forward. But
again, Sean made the point that he was talking to two guys that were there but left a little bit earlier. He saw them on Saturday and asked them why, and he did make the point that there were closer seats than where they were sat.
Yeah, there was two sort of tables that weren't took up with people.
I don't think the acoustics of that room is brilliant. No. Because it's such a big room, and like you say, you could hear all the tables they were talking at the,
There was chatting going on. Yeah.
While the panel was going through the stuff on there. So there was a lot of noise going around, but I mean, that's, to be honest, a fairly minor thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, if the worst criticism we've had is that we weren't loud enough, then I will certainly take that. But no, honestly, and I said it on the night, I can't thank everyone that turned up enough to all of the fools that were there. It meant the world that people turned up. Thank you for everyone who's helped us raise such a good sum for charity. And again, thank you to you boys and the others that were there for helping me make a real event of it, because who would have thought when we started on the days where I was sat on the edge of my sofa recording it on Zoom that we get to the point that we're taking over the Legends Lounge in front of a crowd. So no, it was a big moment for FRI.
Brilliant.
Great way to celebrate 5 years. And yeah, there are already plans afoot for at least one more. But speaking of live events, it's only fair, because the amount they help us, that we should shout out. OSC have got an event coming up in December where members of the championship winning squad, I'm gonna say the year wrong, and only because Chris said the wrong year to me on Saturday and I laughed about it. Of 2020. Yeah, she kept saying 1920. The championship winning squad of 2020, members of that squad, early December. I want to say the 8th. I could be wrong, but the 8th sounds about right. They are in the Legends Lounge. I think it's £10 a ticket. Head over to the OSC socials or website. It's got all the details. That'll be a cracking night if you can make it down there. And we are mere amateurs compared to the shows that they can put on. So definitely go if it is something you'd be interested in.
Wednesday the 3rd, Fifey. Wednesday the 3rd.
Not even close. Wednesday the 3rd. Thank you, Wazza. But yeah, if you can get hold of the OSC, get tickets. That'll be a very, very good evening. I'm sure, and that's nice as well. Yeah, Jason was there. He brought his better half, and even she was very complimentary about the whole event. So thank you. But yes, I'm very happy with how it went. I certainly didn't need to be as stressed and panicked as I was when I arrived at 7 o'clock. It all went really, really well as it possibly could have done. Thank you to everyone who's tuned in tonight. Thank you to everyone who's listening back to this as well. Your support on these shows are always greatly appreciated. As we said, if you are traveling to MK Dons, you have Ben's full respect, but also, as I say, be loud, be proud, travel safe, and let's see if we can keep this cup run going. And you'll be pleased to know that now the live show's over, Christmas has started to be discussed, and how many Christmas specials we will be recording this year is the topic of debate. Who is available on what dates? What can we do? It's all starting to be planned. We will be back on Friday, where we do have a guest booked. I have texted them today to check they're still available. I haven't had a reply yet, but we do have a guest booked who I think you will all be very, very interested in hearing from. I won't confirm who just yet, just in case they have to change their mind. But we are supposed to have a guest on Friday. So that is something to look forward to, where we will be discussing our progression in the Virtue Trophy and Fleetwood away, which for anyone who remembers Fleetwood away last year, oh, did the Fools have some fun then. But that's
would be nice.
That's for Friday. This is Monday. Have a great week, everyone. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the comments. We will see you on the other side. Good night.
Yes.
Some say that only fools rush in, but that's not the case with the mighty twin. Our podcast is a platform with differing views. We're mostly overweight, have beards and problems with booze. When in town are currently playing shit, but we will still be here talking about it. Middle-aged men making random calls. Oxford and Bristol can go suck on our balls. We don't like to judge shit on fools rushing. We don't like to judge shit on fools rushing. We don't like to judge shit on fools rushing. Oxford and Bristol can go suck on our balls. There's Fifey, who's a legend, and Diz our leader. Woody, the coach, is legit, and Joe is slick like a cheetah.